If you go to the gym and you realize, wow, some of my lifts went down, and that affects your whole mood for the day, you're doing something wrong, bro. Because the gym is supposed to be a place where you realize it's a grind, okay? And today I want to go over calculating your progress so you know how much like you can expect to make on average without relying like on your emotions, going up and down just because you had one session which was worse. How to have more fun during the grind itself, and then the ideal mentality to actually have in the gym, okay? So first starting off, like calculating how much progress you can make. This is pretty simple, and this will show you basically that like, okay, this is normal. Like, yeah, we have some plateaus, and it's just what it is sometimes, Sometimes your body just does things, bro. And many times, bro, even if you have everything in place, you might have a session where you don't progress. You might have a session where it goes down for no reason, but you have to calculate on average how much progress you're gonna make, and then you can be like, okay, actually we're doing just fine. Okay, so for example, on squats, you can expect like on average like about 3 to 5 kg per month. Okay, so these are all gonna be per month. So adding about 3 to 5 kilos to your squat per month. This is on your like 1 rep max. If you do measure 1 rep max, if not, like this is also just like on your other like lift. So like 3 rep max, maybe you add like 3 to 5 kilos. For lifts like dips, you can add weights also kind of quick. This will be like 1 to, I think about like 3 kg. Pull-ups. These are a bit slower. This can be like 0.5 to like 2.5, something like that. So you get the point, right? As well as on bench. Bench is usually about like 1 to 3 as well. It's pretty similar to dips, maybe even 1 to 4, depending on like how fast. Like the squats can even be like 3 to 6. So these numbers sort of change, but essentially, I don't want you to go and figure out like how many kilograms like you're gonna be dipping in, like 1.5 months or whatever. But the idea behind this is so that you can look at it and you can be like, okay, roughly 2 months ago, I was dipping that much weight, and now I'm dipping this much. Am I on a good track? Yes or no? And then you can just like, if you're already on a good track and you're making good progress, don't worry about it, even if you have the session which went slightly worse, okay? So that's the main thing, just calculating your progress. And the way you do that, you also need to have your progress from before. So if you're not like recording your sets, okay, recording is a big one, so that you can see like the form, right? So that you can see form and also the weight and also reps. If you want to write these down, you can also go ahead and do that. I prefer to record, but I still write things down. But yeah, recording is a really good one, so you can also see the form. That way you can actually see like, okay, exactly on this date I was doing that much weight, and you can be like, okay, we're actually making good progress, and I don't have to like worry about, like, okay, we just had one bad session. The other thing I want to go over is having fun, okay? Because I'm going to go over the mentality behind the gym and how it's like more of a grind, like I write here. But essentially, bro, like the gym is not a place where you go and you make progress like the same day. Yeah, okay, like you'll have some sessions where you progress super quick. But the thing is, you need to sort of like have this old man type of mentality. Like, I don't know like how I can picture this, but like I always picture like a guy, like an old man on like a bench. Like this is some bench, right? And then he's like sitting on the bench, and he's like, he's there, and he's like always smiling for some reason. He's like smiling, and he's like jolly, like maybe he looks kind of old. And he just sees like, everything happening in his life around him, like maybe like some kids crying here, maybe some like cat, like I don't know, like died here or whatever. Maybe some like couple is like getting married here or whatever. And he sees all of this, and he just knows like this is the cycle of life, and this is all gonna like happen to all of us. Like these like slower progress, you're gonna like hate like your progress for a little bit, and then he's just the type of guy who just like he sees it and he just appreciates it sort of anyways. He's just there, and it's like, wow, like we get to experience this, and like, yeah, it's a plateau, and that's like the beauty of the gym. That's the beauty of self-improvement. That's the sort of beauty of life in a sense, man, that you're gonna have ups and downs, right? But if you're able to, have this like sort of smile on you the whole time and realize like that's just the beauty of how it's gonna be, bro, you're gonna make so much progress, so much more progress than the guy who gets frustrated. So have that sort of like old man sort of mentality, okay? And this is gonna make it way more fun once you pair it with, let me get to it in just a second. So this old man mentality and pairing that with just having more fun in ways like making friends, okay? So you need to have friends who are into similar, basically into self-improvement as well. Ideally, like they watch similar content creators as you, and ideally they have like very similar mentalities. But if not, you can just have a friend who also goes to the gym, for example, and that'll teach you a lot, especially if they're stronger than you. Okay, so having friends is a really good one, and using the benefits of working out. Okay. So actually using the benefits, because you get a lot of benefits. It's like, imagine you have a credit card, right? And you know how you get like benefits, like maybe you get some like discount at some shop, maybe you get like a free flight ticket or whatever. It's like using a credit card, like paying with it, but then not using the benefits, if you know what I mean, right? That's sort of like what happens to many people in the gym in a sense, because they go to the gym, right? They make all this good progress, but they don't, like, let's say, change their mentality, right? They don't change their self-perception, okay? Their perception of themselves. They don't try to get better social skills, right? Which is really easy once you're in the gym. They don't maybe like try to improve their flirting skills, like, right? They don't improve their like the perception. Also, like from here comes like confidence, you know? So a lot of this stuff is like, it's hard to sort of put on a whiteboard, like to write, like how do you improve your self-perception, your confidence? It's more so by just like really using the benefits day to day. So like this might be not wearing your shirt at home, right? Because like I feel super proud of my physique, bro. Like I freaking love it. So I don't record videos with my shirt. I mean, I'm not like wearing my shirt at home like basically ever. But you just need to use these benefits somehow. Like this can also be with like flirting, social skills, like maybe you go ahead and talk to more girls and you realize that like, okay, damn, like girls are more into me now that I have the physique. But you also level up flirting skills on their own as well. So you realize like, okay, wow, with both of these together, I'm doing so much better with girls, okay? Or maybe with social skills, you realize that like, okay, wow, I can make such higher level friends now. Maybe you network with like some bigger connections. Maybe you network with some like entrepreneurs and like, I don't know, maybe get yourself some like, I don't know, some job, you know? So you have to use these benefits somehow, and the gym gives you so much more than you realize, okay? Because the respect you gain from others, the confidence that, like, all of this, it can tie together if only you actually use these benefits and realize that, okay, like, I need to, like, basically show people, like, what I've done in the gym. It might be, like, sort of arrogant in a sense, but you don't have to do it in an arrogant way, as long as you just realize that these other skills are gonna be easier as long like as you have the physique, okay? And so you need to basically fun max, okay? So you get better friends, okay? This is just gonna be in the gym, okay? So usually you find friends in the gym, you just talk to people. This can also be friends online. What I found works for me is just talking to people in the gym, whoever I find like jacked, it's like, yo bro, you look jacked, whatever. And in my gym, there are so many people who basically have good social skills. And so whenever I get someone's Instagram, I see like they're following like everyone else in my gym, and it's like, you know, instant like connections. And so talk to people in the gym, abuse the benefits by actually doing something with your physique, by actually doing something with the confidence that you get, okay? You do this by leveling up some other skills in your life. So the mentality, I briefly went into this before, with like the sort of like old man type of mentality, but you want to realize that the gym, basically you're not going to make really quick progress, and you want to have this old man sort of like, I don't know how to draw an old man, but like maybe like wrinkles here, whatever, and it's like, he's kind of like happy, and this like old man, you know, he realizes that people like go through hard things and then they overcome them, and then like you keep going and maybe you fall into like a deeper hard thing and it gets really hard. But he realizes that like that's sort of the circle of life, and you have to live these ups and downs, you know? You have to like ride the wave even when it's going down, okay? Because that's sort of like the point of life. The point of life is to ride these waves, because half the time, bro, you're gonna be feeling below average. Half the time you're gonna be feeling worse than average, okay? And so he realizes that, okay, we just need to like enjoy these waves, ride these waves, and you know, just keep going anyways, because like the only time you lose really in something like the gym is when you quit. Because yeah, like your program can be super suboptimal. You can have like a bad diet, but as long as you keep training, you're gonna be making some progress, and you're gonna feel good when you make that progress. But the only time you quit, like the only time you lose, is when you quit in something like the gym. The same thing goes for business. The same thing goes for like social skills. All of these things, like the only time you lose is when you quit. Okay, so you need to have this mentality of this old man who realizes like that's just the beauty of life. That's just the beauty of working towards your goals. Is that sometimes you're gonna go down, and that's sort of part of the fun, and you have to realize how you can enjoy that anyways. Okay. One thing I want to leave you with before we leave this video is the sort of like annoying roommate voice, okay? Because this is something like I've seen many people fall to. Okay, so imagine like an annoying roommate. Okay, so this is like, let's say, a room. Okay, this is your bed here, and then this is you on your bed, whatever. Maybe you're like sleeping, and then when you wake up, okay, every time there's this guy here, and he's always super annoying, and he's always telling you like, oh, you're doing like that girl rejected you because you're ugly, and like you're not making any good progress in the gym, and like every time he's talking, he doesn't stop. Okay, so what do you think is the best way to deal with this annoying roommate? Because we all have this annoying roommate in our minds. Okay, now the best way, we have a couple of options. Okay, like we have ignore him, which isn't possible. Okay, you can't ignore him. You can actually have a discussion with him, but this always fails because he's just gonna keep going. Okay, or you can laugh at him. You can think about the absurdity that like this annoying roommate in your mind like keeps on telling you, oh my god, you're so bad at this, and like you got rejected and this, that, and you're like, everything is going horrible. You can just sort of laugh at it, bro. And you have these moments, this old man, I'm sure you've had this with like your grandpa or something. It's like he's just sitting there, and then out of nowhere, he'll just like start laughing, for no reason. Like that's the sort of like mentality you want to have, because you want to realize this absurdity of like, oh, you're so bad, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. And you sort of just like laugh at it, bro. You want to turn that into a positive emotion like laughter. And laughter is such a good emotion, okay? And so use this annoying roommate, okay? Have that mentality, because that's sort of like what keeps you back, okay? Because you realize that like this annoying roommate is in your mind, and then he's telling you like, okay, you're making slow progress. And eventually you fall into that because you haven't done these other things, and you're actually having a discussion with him. And what happens is you end up switching your program because of that. And then you end up like overthinking because of that. And you end up not having this old man sort of like peacefulness. And you're actually having a discussion with the roommate, and that's where it all goes down, okay? So you want to basically laugh at the roommate and realize that like, just have this old man sort of persona that this is just how life is, bro. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this video, bro. I know basically no dopamine in this video whatsoever. I want to help you out even more, so I've put the first link in the description to book a one-to-one call with me. The second link is for my free community. So yeah, bro, I really appreciate it if you book a call, and have an absolutely amazing day. Let's get it, bro. Keep overloading.